If you're going to have a transparent boulder and tray, you have to have a deck in it that is worthy of the transparentness of the deck box. And when I was looking at this boulder and tray last year, and I wanted to gift myself a little bit, to treat myself, I thought, you know what? I'll look around for some collector's Commander's decks. Fully foiled out, blinged out, all that stuff. Let's see what happens. I had seen a couple of videos from a few of the typical reviewers and stuff like that. You know who I'm talking about. I don't have to mention them by name. But I saw them, and one of the problems that I kept seeing that was persistent was the curling of the card. And here we can take a look at it, actually. Let's see here. Now, I don't even have to take the cards out. Right here, I can see the curvature of the card. Mind you, this deck box is pretty goddamn tight, right? The cards are packed in pretty tight. Maybe one or two more could fit, but it's not like it's loose in here. And if I show you, oh my god, look at this shit. Look at that. This is unacceptable in my opinion. But nonetheless, I did think, you know what? It's pretty cheap, pretty inexpensive, yada yada, so on and so forth. So I bought the deck last year. And this year I wanted to do something similar. But since I had been dealing with someone who was able to make very, very high quality proxies, I thought, you know what? What if I were to proxy the entire deck? Not just the commander, but the whole thing. Have the entire thing, including the tokens, be foiled out. And with that in mind, I channeled my big deck energy. You heard me. And I made, or I had this deck made for me. Not the box, you know. I wish that this deck could fit in 100 plus, but it can't. And it's not because, oh, did you quadruple sleeve this thing? I don't know. Single sleeve. And it is my Sarkhan Dragon Ascendant deck. And it is beautiful. One thing that differentiates these cards from any other Magic the Gathering card is the fact that it is very, very glossy. It has a glossy finish. It's nice and foiled, but if I show you the back, you can actually see the light refracting, different from you would notice happen on a normal Magic the Gathering card, right? Not only that, I mean, okay, before going any further, holy shit! The official product, after being in a deck box, I'm not kidding, I've put this fucking deck, pardon my French, in a goddamn wooden brace and tightened it with some vices to see if it would flatten out. Did it? Nope. I did that for a full fucking week and it still got that goddamn curve. This, you can see it on the fucking table. Look at that shit. Now, of course, depending on the materials, on humidity and other factors, maybe these cards can end up curling, but this, no problem with it. And when I look at the price point for this fully blinged out, customized collector commander deck, it was the exact same goddamn price as this one. And mind you, 18 tokens and 3 alternate commanders, right? We have this Sarkhan right here. We also have the Lathless alternative commander, which I thought, you know, because it's all dragons, why the hell not? And one more. This one actually goes in the deck, but if I ever want to, you know, have a different flavor of Sarkhan, I have, pull over here. I have this one. Now, if you've seen my other videos and you know the kind of douche nozzle I am, you understand that I like using waifu proxies. I do not care. People don't mind it. I use them responsibly. If you can drink responsibly, you can use waifus responsibly. I do have a Sarkhan waifu altar, but I don't feel the need to show that here. It's not about this. This is more about what you can receive and what actually supporting the company gets you. This is embarrassing. I don't know why anyone would waste money on these collector commander decks when they can just get the whole thing proxied out. Now, of course, it is a thick boy. I mean, holy shit! You see, this is not double sleeve. You've seen the cards. This doesn't have a sleeve, just a single sleeve, but it is thick as hell because of the glossy finish and everything else. So you're not going to be able to fit this in here. Hell, just by using the lid, it barely covers the 98, the 99 when inside the command. Not even the 99, because these orange ones you see up here before the purple ones, depending on the commander I use, I swap them out. So if I use Sarkhan, I put Lathless in the deck. If I use Lathless, I put Sarkhan in the deck. Yada, yada, yada. It doesn't even fit that, right? Now, you might think that it's covering more, but remember, the thickness of the box doesn't count what actually fits inside it. So if you want a downside to this whole thing, maybe that's a downside. The fact you can't fit it in a nice, pristine, beautiful looking 100 plus Boulder and Tray transparent box. But realistically speaking, it still fits in a 133 perfectly nice. And I gotta tell you, when you whip out a big deck like this, when you slap your big deck on the table and everyone else is intimidated by it, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. I am the big deck at the table. Now, of course, because of the cards that are in here, sometimes they don't want to play against me. They've only played against me twice, and I told them each time, I have to be arch enemy because this fucking thing ramps up like you have no idea. 1 second.
A few moments later.
Solicitors. But anyways, and I told them, you got to make me arch enemy because I do not take responsibility for what's about to happen. They didn't listen, and I won. I decimated the table. This deck is fully, not necessarily CEDH, but it is easily a tier 4 deck. And they had, I think, tier 3s. One of them had a tier 2. And I said, come at me with everything you got, because if you don't, you will regret it. I still kick their ass. This deck hasn't lost yet. And I told them, you know what? I'm going to retire this deck for now. I'm not going to use it. And maybe every once in a while and things like that. But, you know, this is only for special occasions. Only when people are ready to accept my big deck in their presence, right? I'm actually going to stop. But the point is, why would you want to support in my opinion, this is subpar. This is bullshit. The fact that you have this kind of discrepancy in quality, that's embarrassing. That is fucking embarrassing. This is shameful shit. And again, I knew kind of what I was getting into, but again, I put this in a goddamn wood vise. I thought I could take care of this curl. Apparently not. Apparently not. Here we got Sawhorn Nemesis and Cavern Horde Dragon. Look at these two. They're beautiful cards, sure. But this one is embarrassing. And this is what you get for supporting the company. You know? And I remember one time I was, before I had this deck, last year when I used that one of the guys I was playing with, he said, dude, I think it would be awesome if Wizards had like a custom made-to-order commander service where you could tell them, hey, I want these and these and these cards. Of course, not going beyond reserve list or anything else. Just cards that are still in print or that they're willing to print, and they would charge you the same for a commander, for this kind of commander deck. And I just look at the guy and I said, that already exists. It's called proxies. Just contact one of the many proxy makers that there are out there. You know who they are, right? If you ever looked into it, you know that there's easily half a dozen of them of decent quality and another half dozen of not so good quality, but still. And just give them your card list or send them the pictures and then deal. That's how I made this one. Oh, wait, I didn't show you guys the tokens. Of course, you gotta have tokens in here, so I have my Dragon 6/6 token. Oh, my 6/6 Dragon token. Now, I will say this. I messed up when I had the order made. I didn't include the 5/5 dragons. So this is a normal token, right? It's not blinged out. But I am having those made, and I have my treasure tokens. Oh, goddamn. And a total of 18 tokens. Well, actually, no. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 16 of these custom tokens. I took 2 of them out. Yeah, that's right. I needed treasures in another commander deck. But still, you're able to swap those out. So, including those specialized tokens, including everything that you could use in your deck. No problem. Now, there is a big drawback to this deck and a big problem with it as far as, hey, if you want to swap out some cards, let's be real here. You can't do that because you are going to be able to know which of those cards is the proxy. You know which one the proxy is. These cards are thick, so I can't put one of these in this deck because you'll immediately be able to snuff it out. Especially with the curling shit. With, again, I don't know how many times I'm going to do this, but just to prove the fucking point, you're going to be able to tell which one's which. Right? So, I think this is going to kind of seem like I'm showing off. I'm really not. Of course, it's nice that when you have a deck this big, when you have big deck energy, you really want to show it off. You really want to just flaunt it in front of people. But the point is, you have to find alternatives to see what best suits not only your wallet. If you're willing to treat yourself and you're willing to pay an exorbitant amount of money for something that you have worked for, you have saved up for, you want to do all this stuff for, nowadays it's getting more and more and more realistic to just say, you know what, fuck it. Let's get the whole thing proxied out. Why the hell would I support this? Now, I like this deck. I have a special soft spot in my heart for this deck. I'm not going to say I don't. Here in the back, I actually have Worldbreaker Hulk. It's an altar for Kresh the Bloodbraided. And this is one of the proxies similar to the ones that you see here. And of course, people see it. It's no big deal. I've used it a couple of times. It's no big deal, not too overpowered. But, when it comes down to it, again, if you're going to save up money, if you're going to use your hard-earned savings for a deck like this, I would really, 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 really consider, is Wizards the best company to give your money to? Because nowadays, with that kind of quality control and everything, how can you blame someone who wants to have their money's worth in a deck that they're going to use for years on end? I'm never going to sell this fucking thing. This is going to stay with me forever. This is mine. No one's gonna get, possess my deck. They can see it, they can touch it, they can even kiss the deck if they want. I let people kiss my deck. I said what I said. But nonetheless, this deck is gonna stay with me. This will be the kind of family heirloom that I'm going to give to my I'm not gonna live that long. My grandchildren, as I'm on my deathbed saying, intimidate people with your giant deck. And then I will pass on to nothingness. But, this video is really just a bunch of rambling and shit, but, I'm telling you, if you're going to waste that much money on these kinds of collector's decks, especially, with what the Final Fantasies cost, the ones from Final Fantasy, they're still recently priced. I'm sorry, not recently, they're still reasonably priced. But if you try to go get the Warhammer ones, holy shit, dude, you can make 2 of these for the price of the fucking Necron Collector's Commander deck. Why in the world would anyone want to do that? And if you live here in Mexico, it costs in around, holy shit, you can actually make, I'm not kidding when I say this, if you look at the bundle of all 4 of them, you can actually make 6 custom decks. Or you know what? You make 5, you buy your 5 deck boxes, you buy the 5 sets of the best sleeves you can get your hands on, nice little dice counters like the ones I have here. Give me a second. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. That was really not coming open. You can get some nice spin downs or these counter dice or shit, whatever it is you need to bling out, how you use it. Probably a good 18 to 24 custom tokens. Dare I say, some of the cards on the reserve list that Wizards can go fuck itself for not wanting to reprint. You guys know how I feel about that shit. But, goddamn, now that I think about it, 6 fully blinged out decks with their deck boxes, accessories, sleeves, and everything. And, I don't know why you would pick anything else. If you really think that Wizards gives a shit about you supporting them, not really. Yeah, Spider-Man failed. Avatar's gonna fail. TMNT's gonna fail. But, they just want money coming in. That's all they care about. And the bulk of their money comes usually from normal Commander stuff, right? Like the one in here, the Gruul Man. Or maybe the one in here, Draconic Destruction. They don't give a shit. Hell, they probably don't make even enough of these to go around. That's why they're so goddamn expensive. But either way, I don't know. It was just a rant. Maybe it was me showing off a little bit. I mean, again, when you got a big deck, you gotta flaunt it. You gotta flaunt it. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna stop being giggity dirty. But I hope you guys have a good one. Let me know what you think. Is my head just totally hit my ass? Am I just an idiot? If you've seen any of my other videos, you probably think I am. But yeah. Anyways, see you later. Take it easy.